I wanted to talk about um, where I believe, uh, I would say believe or know that like the AI personal assistants are going. What's the future of the personal AI assistant? Um, what will that be like as a so as a product, as a service in the next few years, 5 years, let's say, um, and I'm talking mostly like on the consumer personal side, right? And like less about kind of like the business applications of AI. And like I have other videos where I talk about that and how AI can and will take over knowledge work. But I want to talk about, where's the personal assistant going? Where is it today and where is it going? What is that going to be like? Um, so right now, I mean, like the most popular personal AI assistant by far is ChatGPT. There are others, right? I mean, there's so OpenAI's ChatGPT by far number one. There's Google Gemini. Which there's Google Gemini. There's Anthropic Claude. There's XAI and X Grok. There's Perplexity, which is kind of more of like a search and research assistant. Um, there's a whole bunch of others as well, like I think Character AI and like many that I haven't even used to be honest. But in terms of the capabilities today, I mean, and how people are using it today, I do think like people are using I think people are using ChatGPT more and more for different things, random things throughout the day, and like it is. I think for like a lot of people, it already has replaced or displaced like the use of say Google search, right? If you want to look something up or you need like instructions or you want a recipe or like you just need quick help for something or um, it's becoming kind or like you want to find um, a restaurant. I mean, I think it's probably a little less on like finding places. Google's still very good at that, finding places and businesses, but um, and comparing them, but it's getting there. And like, yeah, I think for quick lookups and searches, like I do think, and getting instant answers, ChatGPT is already being used more and more as like as the go-to as the first place people reach. And that's a habit formation, right? And that's an important kind of signal for technology adoption. But what can it do today? I mean, it's yeah, like being able to ask anything, say discuss anything, and then keep following up, right? Like you just keep having the conversation just keeps unfolding, like, and you can go very, very far with each conversation. Now I have that problem where I use it so much sometimes that I hit like the chat maximum chat length limit, but and then you have to start a new chat with new context. But I don't think most people have that issue. Um, like it can already so ChatGPT will already like and let's say Grok is like my other sort of example here that I'll use as a reference. Like they'll already invoke the tools and functions that they need as needed, like during the conversation to support your query and to support the conversation. So like if you ask it for help with like a math problem, it's capable of spinning up Python script and writing code and then running the script to get you an answer to help you get an answer. If you ask about places, like find me a restaurant that's open now, Japanese restaurant in my neighborhood or in town, like it'll invoke a search. So that's like where it's actually doing a real-time search of the web instead of just using like the knowledge that's already baked into the model. It's existing understanding. So the model normally when you get a response, like it'll right, it's using the knowledge from the model itself, but if you ask for current information or like places or things like that. It'll do like a real-time search. So yeah, it can write code to help with math and science and well, actually, I should say like it can also run a reasoning model, which is a special kind of model that like if you ask it for help with a complex problem or you need to have a plan, that's where it'll use a reasoning model. So it'll essentially like it thinks long it does like thinking longer to help solve your problem and give you like kind of the best answer. Um, Instead of just giving you an answer right away, like the first thought, it's like if you ask a person, right? You ask a person like I don't know, like those old Google interview questions, like how many fire hydrants are there in San Francisco? Probably the first number off the top of that person's head is not going to be very good, right? It's the same thing with the AI. So what it'll do if you ask that kind of question is like it'll try to break down the problem, try to reason through like different approaches. Maybe it'll come up with like different estimations and then take an average. Like it can do some work behind the scenes so that when it gives you an answer, it's even clearer, right? It's like even more, say, accurate and formed, well thought and well formed. So that's reasoning and for like mathematical equations and the like, or if you needed to analyze a file. So that's the other thing it can do today. Like you can upload files, you can upload PDFs or documents. You can even connect, I think, ChatGPT already to Google Drive. Um, doesn't have a deep integration with Google, and that's probably a thing that's limiting like a lot of use. Like I would personally really like if I could ask ChatGPT to summarize my emails for the day and then like fire off an email to one of my like collaborators or teammates or something. Um, that is where like Google has an advantage because they can integrate Gemini. They can and do integrate Gemini right into Google Suite and the Google ecosystem. Um, so that's an interesting challenge that OpenAI has. But yeah, so files, um, yeah, voice. I mean, like voice interaction is already really good. Um, and that's going to get a lot better. Like, I think this is still like the very early stages of a two-way kind of voice conversational interface with the AI system, and that look to that as like a big area where things are going to get better really quickly and get a lot better. I mean, where it will like the end state is, of course, like it'll be like just like talking to you'll be able to speak and talk just like you're talking to your favorite personal assistant. I mean, um, it'll be a very fluent conversation. Like it won't interrupt you. It'll like you'll have like a fluent and coherent and conversation, and you'll be able to take turns, and you can interrupt each other, and like it'll um, it'll be incredible. I think that's a really interesting like area that, and of course, people will use that voice conversation more the better it gets, right? Like the more lifelike it gets, let's say. And then at some point there'll probably be like a video version of that, but like that's kind of set like not a that's not really a huge priority. But it could be an interesting way for it to feel even more engaging. Although it could also fall into the uncanny valley for sure and be weird. But what else? I mean, like memory. I mean, they already have ChatGPT already has, I would say, a very basic version of memory. Uh, they say like it's already um, kind of using like yeah. I mean, there's like I think they have kind of different solutions for memory right now, but I'll just describe like where that's going to go. But right now, like I think they have one type of memory, which is it'll remember like details about you. So if you say like my birthday was this and my hometown is this, it'll take those nuggets of information and kind of save them somewhere so that it'll know, like if you ever have a conversation or chat or question again, that where that would be helpful. Like it'll be able to pull that. It already is able to pull that out, um, and reference that like seamlessly as context. But I mean, where it needs to go and where I think they're trying to go, I don't know exactly how far they are in like in this, but kind of that infinite memory, infinite context, so that like right now, you have like a separate chat for each topic, right? Like personally have like 10 chats open with it right now on ChatGPT. One is about work, one's about like how to set up. I just bought a Starlink Mini. It's like help me, just give me instructions on setting that up, walk me through that. Um, I think I have like uh, another one for some other personal items, right? And like I, but it doesn't have that ability to kind of remember what we talked about. Like it doesn't seem to have the ability. I don't think it has the ability to remember what we talked about last week or a month ago. Um, so that whole concept of like infinite context, so that it doesn't forget anything, right? Which could be maybe sometimes you will want it to forget things, and you'll have. I mean, they have like a concept of a private chat, incognito chat, but I mean, you'll probably be able to just tell it to like, oh, like please forget that we had that conversation, right? That seems like something they could do, but in general, like having if the assistant can remember everything you've ever talked about, that can be on net, that would be extremely, extremely helpful and valuable. And so that will happen um, at some point. That's a hard problem. That is a very hard, seems like a very, very, very hard technical challenge um, to do that at scale. Um, but it would be a huge unlock. And then just like, I think with that kind of infinite context and memory and history, right? There's so much more opportunity for even more personalization where like can really like imagine like that it really knows what resonates with you and like I mean that's kind of scary as well, right? Because I mean that's like there's good and bads to that because the more it knows about you and the more it remembers about everything you've ever talked about, the more emotionally resonant it can become, and the more it can connect with you and the more it can like really know what's going to resonate with you as an individual, like what rocks your boat versus like Tom or Jenny, right? Like every person's gonna have different style and like things that resonate with them. So um, it being able to figure that out can be good. It can be good because it can be even more useful assistant, but it can also be bad because it could it's the danger there is that it becomes extremely persuasive, and so there's it's even more important that what it's telling you is aligned with what's good for you, right? And your values and your goals. Um, so that's an interesting thing, but that is going to happen, like it becoming more engaging and more emotionally resonant. And I think I've noticed that in the past 4 months, ChatGPT has gotten a lot more emotionally resonant. It just seems to have a personality that's like very like um, feels like more of a friend, really, which is interesting. Um, So, I mean, those are just like some of the things like, yeah, and then this assistant will be like across devices. It'll be, your like, I'm sure they will have a wearable. I'm sure like we'll have new form factors of devices. But yeah, it'll be, it's on your phone, it's on your computer. It'll be, um, other home devices, smart home devices, your TV, or like other like new generation of smart home devices, wearables. And it'll just be like seamless, right? Like you won't have to re-explain context. You won't have to, it'll just be like picking up the conversation where you left off. And it will be more deeply integrated into other services, and all your like kind of personal, to be honest, like, yeah, you'll consent to let it access your personal data. Like I don't. Again, ChatGPT has a challenge because they'll have to make a deal with Google or something, but and that probably won't happen. But because Google wouldn't want that to happen. But in general, like these assistants will like be able to connect to your text messages and your calendar and your emails and then like videos from like YouTube and the web and just keep getting richer and richer and more able to do actions on your behalf. It's like where that's eventually going is like the AI will have a bank account, right? Or it'll either have its own bank account or you'll authorize it to make purchases on your behalf, right? And then that opens up like a whole new category of things that you can do, right? Where it can start to shop for you, it can start to book your flights for you, it can like make reservations for you. I mean, that's may or may not require like payment, but yeah, if it can do transactions on your behalf, shopping, planning, um, even like like actually, pay your taxes, pay your utilities, like take care of business, right? Um, that's where that's going, and that I mean, I think that would be really, really, really useful. And it'll once it's able to kind of it's authorized and doing more tasks on your behalf, like probably what your interface will be like there is like you'll be able to get a recap. Maybe it'll tell you, "Hey, I did this for you." Um, well, first, like initially, it'll be you'll still be driving it, but eventually, like it'll proactively do those tasks on your behalf, or some like it'll know what needs to get done. It'll know like how to process kind of different inputs to your life and like do take actions on your behalf or like predict what needs to get done. Certain things like utilities will bills, like paying your bills, that'll be a monthly thing, right? So it'll just automatically do that on a recurring basis. Um, and then you'll be able to it'll say, "Hey, I did this for you. Here's a recap. Here's a summary." Or you'll be able to like ask it for like tell me what you did, right? Um, and you'll like maybe you'll just want it to do things for you behind the scenes, right? Eventually, it'll do more and more for you behind the scenes. But like I will personally, with my assistant, like I will want to be involved. I will want to know what it's doing, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, this is we're definitely entering like a whole new world here, and I think I hopefully that paints like a pretty good picture. And I'm sure there are other innovations and things that will happen that I can't predict. But yeah, I hope that paints a pretty good picture. That's how I think about it.